Last week we went to Chicago and just had an absolute blast. I took a lot of footage of the buildings and just us gallivanting around. And it made me think, has anyone ever made depictions of Chicago in video games? And the short answer is yes. But I found 3 video games in particular that did a pretty good job. The first game that I actually played was Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Now in that game there was only the Chicago Municipal Skate Park, which is where you're just in a warehouse and there's no visible Chicago landmarks. I mean, who knows, maybe there's like a glimpse in a window of the Art Institute or the Sears Tower. Now I would actually describe Tony Hawk Pro Skater as a cozy game. It's got some great music, and aside from the timer on most of the levels, you actually get to just explore the city skating around, so that's pretty cozy. You know, kind of overall chill. The 2 other games that I wanted to talk about actually have a full-on version of this Chicago skyline, and I found it really interesting. They also happen to be the least cozy games ever. They're a little too intense for my taste. The 2 games are Modern Warfare 2 and Splintercell Blacklist. And while I am a firm believer of there are no cozy games, only cozy gamers, these games are not my cup of tea. They both take place really close or in Navy Pier, and you actually get a background view of the city in both of the games. Both levels where they take place are very high stakes. One, you're trying to stop a nuke. The other, you're trying to prevent the bubonic plague from entering the water system. And the only thing that happened while we were at Navy Pier was a deep dish pizza and missing our train on the way back to our Airbnb. And we'll start with Splinter Cell because the background is less detailed, and it's more of a almost a skybox in the back with the city. Now, the view of Navy Pier that you get in Splinter Cell is actually is on the water plant side, which I believe is on the north. And in Modern Warfare, it's a bird's eye view, but from the southern side of the pier, if I got my directions right on that. Now, Splinter Cell has a simplified depiction in both the backdrop and the distance, and you can see the Centennial Wheel and Lake Point Tower. You can kind of make out what I'm assuming is the Sears Tower or Willis Tower, if you want to go by its current name. Comment down below which one you prefer. And in the distance, there's a lot of the buildings that are really crowded and makes it look like a really full city, and most of them are not real. They actually put a bunch of extra buildings so the skyline can look nice and full, because if you did the actual skyline, it would actually be a little bit sparse for video game. And even the distance between each buildings in the foreground, Lake Point Tower and the Centennial Wheel are not actually that close together, especially if you're looking from the water treatment plant. It would have a different view. It wouldn't be that close as you appear in the game. There's also a few buildings missing from the skyline that would be very obvious, like I think it's called the St. Regis, the building. I don't know what it's called. I'll go back and look. Which actually just didn't exist at the creation of the game. It just didn't exist when the game came out in 2013. It didn't start construction until 2016. Well, full 3 years before that ever existed. And that's kind of everything you get to see in Splinter Cell. On Modern Warfare, though, you get a bird's eye view of the Navy Pier, the Chicago River, and just a ton of buildings that you fly by in that helicopter. And that was part 1 of the video. Something happened to the original audio on the second half of the recording. It got weird and distorted. Like, my voice got really deep, like monster deep. Here, have a quick listen.
Like and subscribe if you care to do so. Better yet, watch another video right after this one. Ali, the algorithm really likes it when you do that, and so do I.
Anyways, keep an eye out for part 2 of this video. Next week, we're going to go over the rest of the buildings from that cutscene, and look forward to seeing you then. As I mentioned before in my crazy deep monster voice, like and subscribe if you care to do so. Better yet, watch another video. Ali, the algorithm really likes it when you watch another one, and so do I.